Recording from Chester County, Pennsylvania, this is Coast to Coast Sports, your weekly breakdown of the Philadelphia Eagles, Los Angeles Rams, and NFL teams from around the league. We're recapping last week, previewing what's ahead, and bringing you all the takes in between. Welcome to episode 7 of Coast to Coast Sports, sponsored by Restorative Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Thorndale, Pennsylvania, one of the only private physical therapy practices in Chester County offering one-on-one care with a licensed physical therapist. Call 484-378-7987 to book an appointment today. I'm your host, Mike Carnuccio, alongside the Corey Pritchard. That is LA Rams fan, used to be St. Louis Rams, Corey Pritchard. Today, we will be covering the Eagles finally getting back on the right track. Victory in Minnesota over the former quarterback Carson Wentz in Minnesota. And then we will be looking ahead to Eagles versus Giants back in Philly after that whooping they took in New York 10 days ago. But first, we will pick up in London, Rams Jags. This game was deceiving because it wasn't even close. 35-7 your final score. Matthew Stafford with 21-33, a $182, and 5. That is right. I said 5 passing touchdowns. I expect Corey to go on a long rant about how Matthew Stafford is still the best quarterback in the NFL. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum combined for a little over 90 yards on the ground. And ultimately, it was Devontae Adams with the 3 touchdown catches. The one-hander was unbelievable. We do need to address our picks from last week, as I picked both games incorrectly. Classic. But initially, Corey, let's get your initial take. 35-7 dominant win. Obviously, all of us surprised. We all took the Jags, considering they had the experience going to London, less travel for them, and the biggest thing, Rams didn't have Puka to play. What's your initial take, initial feeling from the game?
All right. So did you know the Rams, they set the record, if you want to call it, for the amount of time they were actually in London, as in they landed the
The
day
least
before. Yeah.
Dude,
So they
and so aren't they saying like, yo, get there like 3 days early or 4 days early?
at least, so at least enough to adjust your body a little bit to the time zone. But I guess the Rams were just like,
Dude, they don't care.
we're just gonna. They got there Saturday morning.
That's wild.
So Saturday morning London time. So they were there for less than 48 hours before they were playing a game. And they're West Coast time. So they stayed in Baltimore. And it was pretty cool. They practiced in the Orioles Stadium.
Oh, I didn't realize they didn't go back to LA.
They didn't go back to LA. So after they played the Ravens, they stayed in Baltimore. And then I guess they flew
Wow.
early, maybe, I guess, what would that be? A red eye flight Friday and then
Yep.
lands Saturday morning.
Why? That doesn't even make sense. Why wouldn't they like? Why spend the extra day in Baltimore? Why not just head to London
I
on Friday?
I don't know. I didn't see reasoning for it. I will say I think they built really good team morale practicing in the baseball stadium. I saw a ton of clips of the practices. It just looked like they were having a great time. I
Sure.
think they probably figured like whether they get out there a few days early or the day before, they're probably going to be somewhat tired either way. So maybe they tried to trade off morale for tiredness. And I think they
Yep.
did a good job. It looked like the clips, they just looked like they were having so much fun. It was such a unique experience. And I think it's stuff like that that really set the Rams apart from other
Yep.
teams.
Yep.
Like our off-season camp was in Maui, and we always have these extravagant locations for like off seasons and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I think it helps build that team morale, and I kind of feel like that's what they did leading into this game. Um, it's crazy to think about too. The Rams are 4-2, and they could very well be 6-0 right now. They lost on the block kick to
They're
the
5-2.
Eagles,
They're 5-2.
or 5-2.
Yeah.
Lost to the block kick to the Eagles, and then
Yep.
they got down in the 49ers to the red zone. Kyron Williams fumbled on the 1 yard line, and then they got down again to like the I don't know, it was like 4th and 3, and they ran the ball instead of kicking it to tie. So like I think the Rams. I don't think they're necessarily underrated. I see them higher up on a lot of the power rankings, but I think they are a legit team this year, and I just don't think any team
Yeah.
would want to face them. Um, the thing I think the Rams do, and we saw this in this game, is they're very one-dimensional. I mean, they did
Hmm.
not run the ball super well this time.
Yeah.
I did notice that they're starting to get Blake Corum more and more touches. It's so funny with the Rams. It feels like whenever they pay a running back, that running back just starts to fall off, and then this backup will earn the starting job in like the next 2 years. It
Yeah.
happened with Williams. It happened with Akers
Yeah.
beforehand, who took over
Yeah.
for Gurley, and Gurley got a
Yeah.
big contract and felt it's just. I mean, the Rams are
Interesting.
always a pass first team, but
Yes, they're definitely a pass first team.
yeah. Ferguson got his first uh, reception and touchdown. That was our tight end we drafted high up in the draft. I think it was one or two.
They've really spread the ball out, man. I
They
mean, so many guys
20,
caught the ball.
yeah, 21 receptions. And I mean, the Devontae was
Unreal.
the biggest target. They just spread it out to, I think like just about everyone on the team had a reception.
Everybody did.
I think
Allen,
Sean
Montiel,
McVay had
Corum,
one too.
Whittington. Yeah.
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 And I feel like we played. I'm not going to say the Jags are the best in the AFC, but
Sure.
they're a good team. They're not.
Yeah.
I feel like we lost to the Eagles, so we lost to a good team, and all of our other wins were more against bottom tier AFC teams. I mean, Baltimore
Yep.
and the Titans and Texans. Like the Texans are okay right now, but they're not like amazing. I feel like we kind of showed, okay, we still, despite these harder losses versus like the 49ers and the Eagles, like we can still come back and play a good team well.
Yep.
And to beat a team in the NFL 35-7, that's hard to do.
Yep.
That shows that like you are playing well across the board. Special teams are still a concern. It's hard to see in the stats sheet, but they had a punt return for a touchdown that was called back.
Yep.
That's like the third or fourth like big return against the Rams special team. So it's definitely a huge concern.
Yep.
Um, Kicking, I feel like hung in there, but it's just like every kick you feel like it's either going to get blocked or they're going to miss it. So
Yep. Yep.
uh, it's interesting. The trade deadline's in a couple weeks, isn't it? It's not too far away.
Yeah. I thought it was closer to maybe a month, like four
Yeah,
weeks. Three.
but the Rams are always known to make big moves in the by the trade deadline. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do something by that trade deadline. I feel like we need a
Dude, I
little
was
bit.
calling for AJ Brown for Devontae Adams swap.
No way. I love Devontae
Could
Adams.
you imagine AJ Brown with Puka Nacua? It'd be ridiculous.
I know, but I don't think we need that. Like we have
Dude, that
such a
would be
core with
ridiculous.
Adams and Puka. We need a kicker and
That is true, dude.
a
Special
new
teams is an issue.
special teams front line because obviously we're not getting it done.
I
So
said it
that's my
last week.
agree.
Your special teams is
Yeah, that's my takeaway. I actually really happy with how the Rams played overall. I thought it could have been. I mean, I predicted a loss. I thought it was. I don't know if I'd call it a trap game. I just thought it was a,
sure.
a game that the Rams typically would lose. They
Yep.
didn't have Puka. They were traveling
Yep.
from Baltimore. They stayed there for a week. They're thousands of miles from home. Like it just seemed
Yep.
like it's set up for a loss, and it was complete opposite.
Yeah. This game, I didn't feel like you guys had a ton to lose because it's like, hey, you're going across country, you don't have Puka. Like,
Yeah.
if you lose, it's an AFC
AFC.
team. It's
Yeah.
not really a huge deal, which
Right.
makes a win feel that much better. The stats can lie. It's interesting. If you were to just go off of, and I noticed this last week too, because I was like,
Hmm.
dang, the
Hmm.
Ravens, when you guys played them, you win 17-3, which is like a
Yeah.
dominant victory, right? But technically, the Ravens had the ball I want to get this right, 38 minutes to 22 minutes,
Hmm.
16 minutes longer time of possession. But what's interesting is the Rams defense, a few things have happened. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna highlight two big things that have happened for the Rams specifically. One, their defense has begun to play a bend don't break style,
Hmm.
which is actually how
Hmm.
the Eagles defense plays a lot.
Yeah, it
And so
is.
they'll give up the yards, but
Hmm.
as soon as you get near the red zone, they're not letting you convert. And they just did this
Right.
2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
Does it mean much against the Ravens without Lamar Jackson? No. Does it mean a lot against the Jags? Of course it does,
Yeah.
because I think the Jags are a pretty decent team in the red zone. Obviously, the Rams being so efficient in the red zone forced the Jags to go for it on fourth downs, and
Right.
that's what led to that bend don't break defense.
It's something else to remember too,
Yeah.
and I think this makes it harder on our defense, is since we are more of a pass first offense,
Yep.
that like we're gonna stop the clock more. We're not gonna be on the field as long as
Sure.
some like the
Sure.
Eagles, they can easily put together like a 10-minute drive. And
That's true.
the defense is just resting on the sideline. Like the Rams are either gonna score quick and be off the field or go 3 and out and be off the field. Like
Yep.
there's we do well at putting sustained drives together, but they're not going to be long drives. They're going to be like 15 yards, 20-yard passes. Like
Yes.
they're always
Yes.
moving the ball significantly downfield. We don't do it like we might run on first down, but they're pretty good at getting like a nice first down run of 6 or 7 yards, and then they just pass it down the field another
Yep.
15 to Puka or something like that. It's just
Yep.
how Sean McVay's offense works.
Yes. Yes. So to me, the other, right, I mentioned the one piece is just that defense playing the bend don't break. The second piece, which I think has been huge, and I called this out for the Rams as a potential issue a few weeks
Hmm.
ago. One was special teams. I think the special teams remains a major potential problem, specifically field goal kicking and
Hmm.
the risk of getting blocked or Hardy missing. However, the thing that I think has improved, which is evident from the London game, is red zone efficiency. If I look at it here, 4 for 4 red zone efficiency
Yeah,
in this
that
game,
was huge.
4 for 4 goal to go efficiency, meaning if they were inside the 10, they got in the end zone every single time.
Hmm.
That was not the case earlier in the season against the
Hmm.
Eagles. They were struggling at points against San Francisco to get into the end zone. So that I think that improvement is huge, and it's just
Our
yeah.
I think our defensive line has improved quite a bit too. Versus just causing such a havoc for quarterbacks. And
Mm,
then Byron Young is coming alive. I don't know if
mm.
you've realized it. He has 9 sacks on the season. He's
Yeah, it's
tied for
wild.
first in the league.
It's wild. It
So
is
we
wild. I
have
saw that.
Verse and Byron Young, who's constantly rushing these quarterbacks. Like
Yep.
that's opening up. Like we've been pretty consistently getting a lot of interceptions, even though our corners have given up some big plays.
Yep.
It's that pass rush that has
Yep.
gotten us to turnovers, and we talk about it all the time. The turnover, whoever wins the turnover game is probably going to win the
Yep.
game.
Yep. I think. Well, tell me what you think about this. A
Uh,
good pass rush can make up for poor corner play. Good, a better than good corner play can make up for a bad pass rush. Think
yeah,
about it.
but yeah, I totally agree because you see that all the time where you're just watching that play and you're like, oh, that quarterback has all day to throw, six,
Yes,
7 seconds. Eventually, those wide receivers are going to get open.
nothing the
Like
corner can do at some
yeah,
point.
even the best corners in the league can't cover someone for like 6 seconds, 7 seconds. At least not both of them. Like one of
Yep,
them's going to give, or an
yep,
outside linebacker is going to give. So
yep,
yeah, it's just I totally agree with that.
yeah, yeah. Last interesting stat to note from this game:
Hmm.
the LA Rams definitely had the zebras on their side. I don't know who they paid. I
Yeah,
don't know what they
I
did.
agree. It was
They
great.
said something.
The check
13
cleared.
penalties for 119 on the Jags.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include, I think it was PI on 2 of Devontae Adams' touchdown catches that were called, that obviously were declined because he called the touchdown. So it's just like, I mean, literally could have been penalized. The Jags could have been penalized like 16
I
times,
think it's hilarious that
which
penalty
is
yards are a
wild.
stat.
Dude, I mean, literally, you guys had 5 penalties for 45. They
Hmm.
basically had an extra 55,
70-ish
yeah,
yards.
80,
Yeah.
80. I mean, close to 80 yards extra. I mean, that's a drive. That's a touchdown. That's worth seven
Yeah.
points. So
I
it's
mean,
pretty
they
nuts.
need to play within the rules. What can I say?
Dude, it's true. And now, dude, you get your bye. Now you get your bye to rest up a little bit before you go Saints, revenge game at San Fran, Seattle, who you always own, and then you get Tampa before you go Carolina and Arizona.
We got
Like
the nice schedule
schedule
ahead of us.
schedule's nice. I mean, I'm looking at it like one, two, three, four, five, six. Next 6 games, you guys could easily have 5 wins, if not at least four.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I'm
you're
always
looking
going
at
to
a nine
put
and
the
four, 10-2
49ers as a
start.
trap game. Um,
Hard to beat team
Seahawks,
twice, always.
yeah. Seahawks, who knows? I feel like we play the 49ers better at their stadium because it's so demoralizing when it's at our stadium and you look and it's just all red fans.
That is true, dude. It is
So
so true.
at least it's a true away game.
Yeah.
Tampa's going to be tough, but that's going to be a fun game. And I think the Rams will play strong, just like we played the Eagles strong.
Yep.
The Rams are probably going to have some sort of slip up. They just always
Yep.
do. I feel like every team does. Like I could see us randomly losing to like Arizona or Carolina or something
Sure.
like that when
Sure.
we shouldn't have. But we'll see. I mean, we have gone though through a stretch like this. I think back when it was like McVay's second or third year, Goff and Gurley. It was like it was the year with that Monday night game versus the Chiefs.
Yep.
Like we went on long stretches of just win after win that season. So we can do it. And just hasn't happened in a couple years.
Bring more fun to your rounds with Birdie Board, the golf app designed for matches with friends. Choose the format you love: stroke play, match play, Stableford, with or without teams, handicaps or not. Invite your friends, and Birdie Board does the rest. Just enter your score and focus on the fun, while we keep track of everything, including stats like lowest score and worst hole. Download Birdie Board today on the App Store or Google Play, and let the games
All right.
begin.
Let's move on to Philadelphia Eagles in Minnesota. Rematch against former Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. Some would say it was not the best of separations among the Eagles and Carson. In the past, the Eagles have owned Carson when he played for Washington, sacked him like I think 7 times in that game in DC, well, technically in Maryland, and he turned it over a couple times. And that's the big thing with Carson. If you can get to him, he will throw some interceptions, which is exactly what happened. Jalen Hurts went 19 to 23 for 326. That's just in case you're wondering, over 14 yards per completion on average. And
Yeah.
it's helped by the 70-yard touchdown, 79-yard touchdown
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Devonta Smith. Again, the running game still nowhere to be found for the Birds. Saquon, 18 carries, 44 yards. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. But the big topic for the Eagles was really offensively waking up. Devonta Smith had 9 catches for 183 and a
Yeah.
touchdown. AJ Brown, 4 catches for a buck 21 and 2 touchdowns. So the two stud receivers wake up a little bit. They burned Isaiah Rodgers, former Eagle, multiple times. On the
Hmm.
other side of the ball, Carson Wentz throws the 2 costly picks. The one's returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Besides that, it was classic Carson. Efficient. I mean, he 26 completions for 313, but the 2 picks are pretty killer.
Yeah.
But big takeaway for you in this game on either side of the ball.
I think for the Eagles, I like that they're starting to accept that they might not be running the ball like they did last year, and
Yeah,
they're starting to throw a little bit more. If they were trying to hang on to that run first mentality, I just don't know if they would be winning many games
yeah,
the rest of this season. But there's a couple of games in a row where they put up good passing numbers, and if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be kind of encouraged that like, okay, we're adjusting. The fact
yeah,
is, after last season, defenses are going to come in every single game and say, "How do we stop Barkley?"
yep,
So I'm not discouraged when I see Barkley 18 for 44. I'm thinking, okay, teams finally are starting to stop him. Your offensive line isn't the same as last year.
yeah. They're
Like you
not.
guys have to pivot,
Yep,
and
yep,
you're starting to pivot well. Now, I think last year's running team is going to be a better passing team than the Eagles, if
yep,
that makes sense. Like I
yeah,
think your cap was a lot higher as a running team than what it will be as a passing team. But I think the Eagles have a strong enough passing team where they're still going to be a deep threat and even a Super Bowl threat
yeah,
in the
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, a couple things that were interesting. One, I'll comment. Since you commented offensively, I'll
Yeah.
first comment defensively. The defense at this point is, I think, trending in the wrong direction.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going, this is the eye test. This is not the
Hmm.
score. They gave up 22 points. The Eagles played bend, don't break. Kind of similar
Hmm.
to the Rams. The difference is the
Hmm.
Rams only gave up 7 points.
Yeah.
They only gave up 3 points to the Ravens. The Eagles got relatively dominated most of the game by Carson, who's decent, but the guy has a lot of time to throw. So that to me is the difference. The Rams actually create sacks and actually get pressure on quarterbacks. The Eagles do not. That is just
Yeah.
a simple fact. I mean, their interception of Carson came because Jalen Carter made a stud move on a lineman, did a quick sweep, and then just just plowed through
Right.
Carson and forced the ball and it gets picked for a six. And that's a great play. They consistently, if you watch the game,
I
do
did,
not
yeah.
get pressure. They do
Yeah.
not get pressure on the
I mean,
quarterback.
yeah,
So,
you have Carson Wentz, who's a backup quarterback throwing 313. Like,
and dude, 7 of 15 on third down. They converted
yeah.
almost 15%, 50% on third down. That is unacceptable defensively. Quinyon Mitchell was on ice skates at points, and like the poor guy is like sitting there, like, all right, well, am I going to be out here trying to like hold this receiver down for
Yeah.
5 seconds, ten
Yeah.
seconds? Like, how long is it going to
And
be?
the
So,
Eagles, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't rotate their corners, right? So the corners play the same side of the field.
well, no, they changed that strategy.
Oh, they
Quinyon
did.
he used to only play the left side of the field. He was on the right
Yeah.
side yesterday a bunch. So I don't really know what they do, to be honest. I don't know
Yeah.
what Fangio does. They lost Darius Smith. Right, he retired. You sent us that
Right.
text, and so he was actually creating some pressure. They're talking about bringing Brandon Graham back, which I think is baloney. The dude's 38. He tore his tricep
Yeah.
again in the Super Bowl. Like that's not your answer. They need help. Now they will
You
get
bring
Nolan
him back
Smith.
if you have a playoff run. You don't bring him back
Yeah, not
at this
now.
point.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So Nolan Smith though is projected to be back, I believe, after the bye. So they'll play the Giants, they'll get the bye, and then I think he'll be back for Green Bay. Is his projected, and they're going to need it because they just don't like their DNs don't really create much of a pass rush at all,
Hmm.
and you can see it. So their defense to me looks soft. That would be my big takeaway defensively. And
Yeah.
again, they held them 22 points. It's not the end of. I mean, it's not bad, but like
Yeah,
they
but it's
went
a
up and down the field on them.
decimated Vikings team. Like they just don't have the same quarterback like
Sure.
they've had.
I
So
mean,
you have
I'm not gonna. The reason I could not fault the Eagles like crazy is, dude, when you have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, to me, that's a
right.
top five receiver
Yeah.
duo. I mean, Rams, Eagles, Vikings, those are three of top five in my opinion. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, I mean that, yeah, you can't go crazy. I think offensively is really interesting. Now they did lose their center, Cam Jurgens. I
Hmm.
don't know what the Rams backup like. What is any team's backup plan if they lose their center? Like we put a guy with the name of
I
Brett
mean,
Toth, who's
we
not
lost
well.
our center last year at one point, and
And
man,
what
it was
happened?
a struggle. I mean, it
Yes,
just felt
like
like we
dude,
were going to lose every game, and we probably
and
did
you
during that period.
offensively, you're so dysfunctional. It is wild.
Yeah.
You could argue losing your center is up there with the second worst thing that could happen to your team, other than losing your quarterback.
Well, especially for the Eagles, because Kelsey, he was a leader center.
Sure.
Like he like losing Kelsey might have been worse than losing Hurts while he was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I
Makes sense.
think you're that baton has been passed down. Now I think Hurts is more of the leader still, but like
Sure.
because of Kelsey's history, that center position is very, very valuable in terms of leadership on the
Sure.
Eagles compared to other
Sure.
teams. Like
Yeah.
I think it hurts the Eagles more to lose your center than it would like the Rams losing their center.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I don't disagree with you. So to me, what was impressive was Jalen, in my opinion, we talked about this last week. Like he played terrible against the Giants. He had a
Yeah.
terrible game. Missed Devontae Smith on a deep ball that would have been a touchdown. He hits him this time on basically the same exact ball. He missed AJ Brown down the middle, which would have also been a touchdown. Instead, throws the interception. So and Jalen turned it around. I mean, passer rating. I think he had a perfect passer rating. It was like
Did it?
158.3, like
Yeah,
19 and 23 for
158.3.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so everything with Jalen is just like he's just not consistent. Like I was listening to somebody. They're like, well, Jalen is like he has the same routine every time. He's consistent. I was like, no, what? He has the same routine, but he does not play consistently whatsoever. He's all over the place. And you could argue a
Yeah.
lot of quarterbacks are that way. But when he comes out, I don't know if he's going to go do what he just did against the Vikings or if he's
Yeah.
going to go do what he against the Giants. It could kind of go either way.
Yeah.
So
And like something too is like, yeah, he had a perfect passing rating, but he also had a 80-yard pass to Devontae Smith. Otherwise, he'd be in the lower
yeah,
200s with his passing yards. So,
yes,
I mean, it's not to take away from his game, but it does skew it a little bit. It's not
He
like
was at
Stafford passing it to
245.
15 different wide receivers.
Sure. It's interesting. I do wonder though, like to me, the positive for the Eagles is this. The trend to me is that I'm noticing more and more opportunities deep for them
Yeah,
offensively that they weren't even taking in the beginning of the season.
right.
So
Yeah.
against the Giants, if Jalen just makes that pass to AJ because he is
Hmm.
1-on-1 down the seam and
Oh,
hits
yeah.
Devonta, that's a totally different ball game, right?
Yeah.
That their defense obviously fell apart with head injuries and stuff. But
Yeah.
so then you see the big plays open up against the Vikings. This is the stuff we saw 3 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl in terms of,
Yeah.
and they lost to the Chiefs. But we saw this stuff in the passing game. It seems like it could be coming back to life again,
Yeah.
which is you're right. You're spot on. It is the only way I think the Eagles are going to be successful this year. It's
Yeah.
not going to be running the ball. Saquon might have a 100-yard game here or there. It's not that cannot be the foundation of what they do.
And it's just not going to be the same as last year. Like he had a historic season. Like no
Yeah.
matter what, he was going to go down from last season.
You knew
I
it.
mean,
Yes. Yes.
it's just not going to happen again. Like teams are going to lock him down and
Yep.
they're going to respect the run more. And like another thing to remember too, defenses have a harder time playing against players on new teams because they have no film or anything to go off of.
Sure.
So that helped them a lot. It's like you can't see how the Eagles were going to use
Yep.
them, and a lot of these teams are going to be preparing all offseason for these games. So
Yep.
you just don't know. So that helped. It was just a nice perfect storm for Saquon last year, but it makes sense that you guys aren't running as well as you did last year. I mean, you're still running it
Yep.
pretty
Yep.
decent. Like it's not like you can't move the ball on the
Yeah,
ground.
dude, I think we are statistically like 28th in the league in running. I kid you not. I mean, we are one of the worst offensive lines blocking for the run. Like, and they PFF Pro Football
Yeah.
Focus actually rate that
Yeah.
based on when your running back first makes contact with the defender, and they're
Mhm.
literally 28th out of 32 teams.
Man.
It's pretty terrible.
That's sad. Yeah.
It is what it is. So, all right. So let's just. And this will be short. I mean, because they just played the Giants. I mean, at this point, any matchup that you would be keeping your eye on for the Eagles Giants matchup. Giants just had a heartbreaking loss to the Broncos.
Yeah. I think
I don't like the Giants, and I felt bad for them.
I think their loss is actually one of the worst things that could have happened for the Eagles. I think they're just going to come back with vengeance again. They're not going to want that to happen again.
Sure.
They lost in a poor way, and they played pretty well all game. I think they're finding their rhythm.
Yep.
It's hard to beat the same team twice in one season.
Especially it would be in 17 days.
Yeah. Yeah, especially a short turnaround like that. The Eagles are going to be more prepared, I think, versus the Giants this time around. I think a lot of the reason they lost the first time is the respect just wasn't there. I mean, you just felt like it was going to be a win easily.
Yeah.
But man, the Giants are, I think, a lot better than what people
look pretty good
for.
Yes. And Scadaboo's brought them back to life. Dart has obviously brought them back.
Dart's playing well. He's so mobile, which is just helps the offense out so much when you don't need to rely just on your front line to keep you safe. Like if you don't, Dart can easily roll and scramble, and even he needs to probably stop doing this as much. But right now he just puts his head down and tries to get every yard he can get. Honestly, a team like the Giants needs something like that right now. That's how they're going to get the spark.
So tell me if you agree with the statement. Truly good teams do not lose twice to the same team in the same season.
Well, I would say typically yes.
So that means, I'll give an example. That means you don't lose to teams in your division twice in the year. That means you don't lose to the same team in the regular season and then in the playoffs again. That doesn't happen if you're a truly good team.
Well, I would say yes, I would agree with you, but the Rams lost to the 49ers twice and then beat them in the playoffs.
When they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I mean,
here's the question. How many examples do you think exist where the Super Bowl winner
lost to the same
to a team in the division twice that season.
And then played them a third time in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, so like you guys beat them the third time through, but you lost the Niners twice.
Yeah.
I bet the Rams, who won the Super Bowl last year, are one of the only teams that have done that in history.
I agree.
Like, I would say, like, literally one of 5, probably.
Yeah. Probably less than that.
It might be.
Yeah.
And that's my point. My point is there can be anomalies, but and it doesn't mean that if the Eagles lose to the Giants or if the Rams lose in San Francisco that their season's over. We've already said it. I still think the football in September and October really still doesn't even matter that much. It's just win or lose. Just get the W, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to look back at the Rams and be like, "Oh my gosh, they beat the Jags 35-7. That's why they're going so deep in the playoffs." Like,
yeah.
So, but if the Eagles lose to the Giants going into this bye, I think we're going to look back at that game later in the year and be like, there was the sign we should have been looking at. And I could say the same for the Rams. I mean, I know they have like somewhat of an easier schedule.
Yeah.
I think the Rams need to go into San Francisco and win that game.
Yeah. I think they need to at least keep it close. I have the bias from winning the Super Bowl with 2 losses. I'm not super worried about it, and the Rams tend to always lose to the 49ers, but it would help to not lose to them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or look, that means the San Fran is a legit team this year. I did not take them seriously at all until they beat you guys. Then I was like, I guess I should take them seriously. And I mean they're the 49ers are, man.
I had Mac Jones on my fantasy team last year, and I used him a lot, and he performed well every time I used him. So he's playing as probably one of the better backups in the league.
He is. I might put him as the best right now, actually. Yeah. Prediction score: Eagles, Giants in Philly, 1:00 Sunday. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Giants winning. I think they're gonna be able to get it twice in a row.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say the reverse of what I predicted last time, which was 23-20 Eagles. I'm gonna say 23-20 Giants.
Okay.
And this time they're gonna actually win on that field goal.
Okay. I like it.
Yep.
I'm going to go 20. I'm going to do a weird score. 26-21 Birds. Giants will have a late drive. Jackson Dart throws a pick to end the game.
Okay. All right. Lock it in.
I think it's hard to beat a team twice in 17 days.
I think it is too, but I think the Giants are going to figure it out.
And actually, this was years ago, Tony Romo was on Dallas. The Eagles lost in Dallas in Week 17. Mm-hmm. Wild card weekend, they went to Dallas. They stayed in Dallas, and they got whooped by them twice in a row. It was the worst ending to a season I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I actually questioned whether I should ever watch football again.
Yeah, I would too.
But what brought me back was Dallas lost in Green Bay the week after. That was the Dez Bryant.
Oh,
remember that
controversy.
The controversy, dude. That happening, the Zebras saved that season for the Eagles.
All right, let's end with this opinion. Do you think it was a catch or not?
100% it was a catch.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Not even a question. It was a catch, and thank God the Zebras stepped in and screwed the Dallas Cowboys and screwed America's team.
Yeah.
God bless America, and God screw the Cowboys.
Awesome.
Sweet. All right. So that is it for today. Follow us on all platforms. We'll still try to figure out how to get on.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
We'll figure it out. All right. So we'll be back next week to cover Birds Giants, and then look ahead to Rams Saints in New Orleans. No, in LA.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Thanks for listening, everyone.
That wraps up this week's episode of Coast to Coast Sports. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and share the show with a fellow football fan. From Philly to LA and around the league, we'll be back next week with more sports talk.